All right, so I'm just going to kind of continue on with the discussion we had. I showed you what I figured out with GCD last time. So I've done a few more things like NSQ operation and stuff. So
I have a question. Do you guys know what NS? What does NS stands for?
Yeah, what does that stand for? I was wondering.
Because it's like
class.
all over the place.
Yeah, I was wondering. I think it has something to do with Objective C. So next step, heritage is an object-oriented multitask operating system. Oh, I think I know why. Because I think it comes from because didn't Steve Jobs make?
He made
next step. He made this operating system, which I think iOS is based off of.
Next step.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when Steve Jobs came back, they bought out Next Step because that's where he was working.
He made his own operating system called Next Step.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So
I remember.
So that would make sense, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it probably uses anything. All right, anything.
Sorry.
Back on to discussion. So you know, I've kind of gone through and I tried different things. You know, first I've tried, you know, making this sync and then the main thread sync, and it works. And then I tried this. This is an example of a crosslock, though, is right here. If you look, let me comment this code, make sure everything else is commented out.
Class peep.
Yeah, we'll get to class peep. Yeah, I told Richard. Okay, so right here, so we have our you know, our thread right here. So I create a background thread right here, and then our main thread. And so they're both synced together, so they both need to wait for the other one to finish before they can continue on. So what happens is, you know, we start the thread, I start the counting and I push, but then it gets hung up here. So what happened is this counts to 100, and then it's waiting for the main thread to count back down to count from 100 to 200 before it finishes. Well, the main thread is waiting for this thread to finish, and so we're in a crosslock right there. And so, you know, so it only gets this far and then it just kind of kills. So I think if you kind of see that in an example where your thread just kind of kills halfway through what it's supposed to do, you're probably in a crosslock to do so. And then I tried to do this. I tried just doing a sync and an async, and I've tried it the other way, and both of these don't create a crosslock. So it's only because I think they are both able to finish. Because if it's, and my understanding is if this is syncing and this is asynchrony, that doesn't have to rely on this one to finish. And so this one can finish, and then once this one finishes, this one will finish. And then reverse here, this one doesn't have to wait for that one to finish. So this one can finish as soon as that one does. So that's my understanding. I may be wrong, but I think that's what. So then anyways, here I was trying to create a race condition. It's not working, so I probably won't spend up too much time. But what a race condition is, you know, you have two threads using the same like instance of like a variable or something, and they're trying to race to use the variable before the other one. So right here, so my idea was what I was going to do is I have this pumpkin and it has seeds, and then it has this boolean that does it have seeds still, and then there's a function that removes the seeds, and then I think this was supposed to set has seeds to false. Okay, and then my idea was I was going to have two threads, and then they were going to kind of race this thread has seeds to true, and this one will loop around and continue removing the seeds until it's false. So I think sometimes you get stuck because of racing to do that. So I need to kind of talk with Brother Barney and see what I need to do to fix and get my race condition. See, and then I could probably show you a better example of, you know, what a race condition looks like. So then anyways, we move down And so we're kind of starting with NS operation here. And so this is just built off GCD. And there's this, so I just created this function, hello world, and it returns nothing, and it just prints out hello world from the background thread. And so here I just create a simple example of hello world. And so when we, I click it, I create an NSQ operation, NS operation queue, and then I add operation with block. And so what this is, you have to think of this as in like Objective-C terms. An Objective-C, a block is like a closure. So basically what I'm doing here is on the queue, I'm like, all right, we're going to be adding a closure here. So and then in the closure, and I think you can actually write it like this too. I think you can write it like that. But in Swift, as I showed you last week, it gives you the example of writing the closure after the function. So this kind of looks more clean, so that's why I did that. So then in the closure, I just call hello world, and it prints out hello world from the background. So that just happens in the background thread. And so then, to get a little more complicated, here's another example. This one, I don't even just assign it to a variable. I just call it NS operation queue, and I add a closure. So, and then I want to see, what it did with missing parenthesis. And that's kind of the error you get right there, because it's returning nothing, and it's expecting something to return. So you need the parentheses. And then updating the UI thread. So this is how you would do, like, if you wanted, kind of how we were doing in GCD. We were updating the background, and then we were updating the UI thread at the same time. So you can kind of do the same thing here. You just put it in here, and you call it NS operation queue, and then it has this function called, like, this object main queue, and that will do it in the main queue. And then you can add operation with block, same thing. So this will update. So if we look at this example here, over on the screen, we begin, it updates the main thread. So, and then I just wanted to check here to see if it's synchronous or asynchronous. So I did that same, created a cross lock, and it didn't lock up, so it's asynchronous, I think, by default. And I think there's a way you can specify it to be synchronous, but I haven't figured that out. But this is cool. This is the last thing I'll show. So you can create a class, and then you can extend it with NS operation, okay? And so there's this abstract class, okay? And that basically just saying this class is going to be using a thread or to do its operations. So we're inheriting from the NS operation class. And I create this class, a peep, just a group of chickens, and then in the peep, we specify how many chickens are in it, and we initialize it, and then we have this function called slaughter chickens. so then it'll just print out slaughtering so many chickens, and then it minuses it from the chickens. So then right here, so then we take this and we run this, okay? And so you're going to be doing it a little bit different. So since it's a operation, we're adding an operation to our queue. We're not adding an operation like before. We're adding operation with block. So this one, we're saying this operation is going to be a closure. This time what we're doing is we create our queue, and we're just adding an operation, and we're adding our class because it's extending the NSQ operation. Does that make sense? So it has all that functionality, so it's an operation. And so we add our peep. Well, first I make the peep, and then I add the peep to the queue. And so then we can do things like peep when it completes, like completion block. So after it completes, this is what it's going to do, okay? And then, then in our thread, we're going to slaughter the chickens, and then we're going to print out how many chickens are less. And then I just added this in just for fun. I'm printing to the UI thread, so I just added a thing. So, if we watch it work, we saw they're slaughtering 3 chickens. There's 7 less. High from the main thread. So it's kind of fun. So it's kind of cool how, you just have to kind of think, add operation with block, you have to think blocks or closures. And then if you do add operation, you're adding an operation, so it needs to extend the NS operation class. So it's just an abstract class that does that. So I don't know, any questions? That's kind of all I have. So
I think so add operation with block, is that what's doing the thing in the background?
mm-hmm.
So it's calling that, and then from the background thing, then we're calling the main queue thread.
Yeah.
And then on the main queue thread, yeah, we're saying that.
Okay.
I think that's the only thing.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. There's two different ways, and so I always have to just try and remember whenever it says block, it's probably saying a closure, because they're pretty close in Objective-C and Swift. So. So. Yeah, and you can write this like this, I mean, it takes a closure as the function. So, I mean,
what is a closure again?
Closure is just like it's functionality, I guess. I don't know how to describe it.
It's like an ending function.
It's like an anonymous function.
Anonymous function. That's a good way to put it.
It doesn't have a name. You just pass, like how in our PL SQL class, it doesn't have a name. It's just functionality, and we just give it this functionality.
So all a closure is just like it's not a name function. You're just passing functionality around. So I think that's why it's like when you're doing functional programming, you use closures a lot. And then closures are cool because they'll take the variables they need and stick them inside the function, so you don't have to pass them in like you would a function. So.
Yeah. You are popular.
I think it's the thing that's Adobe logo, Okay, but I don't know. Any other questions you have? Or?
That looked pretty thorough to me. You could probably talk to him about that on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think he'll probably make me. Yeah, I was going to talk to him. I think he probably will make me get a race condition working, but I hope that's good. So, all righty. Oh, what happened to my Hangout?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, stop sharing right there. I don't know what happened to it, but.
I think. No, I don't remember what I was going to think.
Listen to this. See what you can say what they're saying. What's the first part?
I don't know. It cuts off. I bet you he's talking through while it's ringing. And then when it gets to your voicemail, it was started halfway through.
So there's a couple things I can think of. Like I was using Creative Cloud on my school email. I created an account for my email. And I was using it. Well, I let that one expired, and then I started getting Creative Cloud through my other one, and I just associated it with my school one. And so that's the only thing I can think of. Why they'd be calling me.
How much does Creative Cloud cost?
As a student, it's like right now, I think I paid $200 as a student.
For the year?
What is this?
So Adobe, they're trying to get people to stop hacking their products because they're the #1 hacked software.
They're the #1 pirated software on the market.
So they're offering you all Adobe products for like cheaper than if you paid up front, but they're doing monthly like Netflix. Yeah. That's really.
So yeah, it's actually really good. I like it. I thought it was
kind of nice that you have access to everything. That's what I kind of like.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're using something and then you're like, oh man, I really wish I had, Adobe's other thing, and then you're like, but with Creative Cloud, you just download it.
Yeah. So it's nice because like before you had to buy like each product, and it was really expensive. So it's like you usually just buy like, all right, I'll just buy Photoshop, or you just buy like Photoshop, Illustrator, and Design. Like, so then you can't do any movie stuff if you want to. But Creative Cloud, you're just like, all right, I'll pay for a subscription.
Now, do they have it so you can like customize your payment thing? Like, what if I just want just Photoshop from Creative Cloud?
You could always do that.
Could, and then they'd only charge me like $50 a year or something, rather than $200.
Yeah, so you could just buy just a specific app, but I think it's a little more expensive too.
Yeah,
because it's like so I think it's $20 a month per app. Here, I don't know. I can't remember the pricing, but yeah. So it's not bad as a student. I think it gets more
expensive. Darn it. So I was actually thinking of just getting that so I could stop hacking your stuff.
Well, see, it's hard to hack now. See now, because what they do is that they make you, it checks up, the program checks up so often to make sure you have a valid license. I
haven't figured out how to get around that in Macs, but I don't